and welcome everyone to the second free live webinar. I ask you to mute yourself when you come in. We've just started. This is the second webinar. It is in English, and we will be repeating the same on Thursday in Arabic for our Arabic followers and clients because they were really interested in finding out more about this webinar. Any questions? We'll do it at the end of the webinar. Tonight, the webinar is entitled Meet Your Personal Identity. Oh, good. Everyone can see us and hear us. That's wonderful. So guys, this is for you if you want to connect more deeply with yourself. If you were with us last time, I am just recapping before we start with tonight. If you are struggling to improve your life and you've tried everything and you're still stuck and some patterns are repeating themselves, I hope that when you stay with us throughout these webinar series, you'll begin to understand how complex it is to be a human being. But we are going to uncover this layer by layer as we go on throughout the year. So every webinar, you will take you a little bit more deeper so that you can see how all the complexities relate to each other. If you want to unbox the real identity, tonight we're going to talk about your personal identity. What does that mean? There's matter, there's antimatter, there's the person, and there's the consciousness. And we think we have a personal identity, but we're going to again uncover it tonight. And you're going to see how that construct is totally made up by our first three chakras, which Nathalie is going to go into details. To give you an idea, not details. Yeah, this is a taster. We don't want to overwhelm everyone, but to give you an idea of how our energy, our experiences shape who we are. So I hope when you finish the series, you will begin to understand again what it is to be a human, what we call the human technology or your human makeup, because your human makeup is, okay, I keep using the keyboard, but it's not the keyboard. It's here where I want to be. Oh, here we are. It is the hidden gifts that you have within you. Tonight, just to begin with few housekeeping rules. Again, we are presuming that we are talking to reasonably well-adjusted people. If you have any form of mild to acute mental illness, obviously that needs professional help, but we are trying to help people in general. So I hope you can get some benefit from this webinar. Forget what you know. I'm sure you know quite a lot. Our clients are very intelligent and educated and self-aware, but it's always a good idea to leave what you know behind so that you can listen with an open heart and an open mind. Let it all settle in. And when you are ready, your brain will make all the connection and you will make sense of the new stuff that hopefully you'll learn tonight. So listen with an open mind. Don't worry about taking notes or writing anything. We can email you a PDF, DM me or Nathalie on Instagram or Facebook. Just say want PDF and we can email that to you. Question and answers at the end. Just give us a chance to tell you what we need to tell you and then we'll answer all questions. However, put them in the chat because then we can take a look and try and address it as we present you with this webinar. We continue with our love to you. We continue with the 50% offer. I'll let Nathalie, do you want to tell them why it's a 50% offer?
Woohoo, because I turned 50 in December and therefore this year is a special year for me and I'm offering all of my services at 50% for those who take my chakra workshop. So yes, my friend and colleague Sahar is like taking that on and also offering some of her services.
Yeah, Annie, go to my website under services, any service that suits you, whether it's a package, an hour, a Bach flower remedy, a healing, whatever it is, 50%. And mention that you have seen this webinar so that we know. This is because we really appreciate you taking time to join us and watch us. And we just felt that we want to honor that, honor our ardent followers who keep following us around the webinars. So are you guys ready to meet your personality? A little bit about me. We both spoke about ourselves last time. You can see a detailed video of my story, Nathalie's story, how we became holistic therapists. We both actually share something in common, Nathalie. We were both in the advertising and marketing world. We left the corporate world to do this, which we are both very passionate about. And I am particularly passionate about getting everyone to reset and restart. No matter what your financial situation is, we can really make something out of the very difficult times that we're going through. So a little bit about me. Between me and Nathalie, we have actually over 36 years of experience. I've been in this field for 28. Before the Zoom time and the group webinars, I must have had about 14,000 one-to-one sessions. And I was named 3 times as one of the best 100 psychics in the world. I mentioned this because we will talk about intuition when we move up the pyramid of consciousness. And intuition sometimes, for me always, can be a savior because you can forget your brain and go with your heart and go with the guidance that you are receiving. As an online mentor, I specialize in getting you unblocked very quickly, in determining what it is that is holding you back. And you will get results through my mentoring, private mentoring, which I call Unbox the Real You. Nathalie, you want to mention a little bit also about what you do? Or do
yes, Sahar, with my background in advertising and the corporate world, I guess I pushed myself over the edge and into this beautiful domain and science, which we hope to share a lot of, but give you also just bullet points of how important it is and how it all starts from you, your thoughts, your feelings, and how you can change everything in your life.
And it is really about living life from the heart, loving what you're doing. For me,
True.
work is love. I have to love what I do. Otherwise, I find it really difficult to get up in the morning. I loved advertising and marketing, but my big turning point, as I mentioned, the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait kind of pushed me out of the corporate world to find deeper, to find answers to deeper questions. What is life all about and what do I want out of it? And for that, I have to thank 2 of my very special mentors, Mariam Jose and Keith Caspern. You will also find out that we both have studied different modalities and we're working together because we managed to bring all of these modalities together in a way that makes it really easier or simpler for you to understand that it is about self-awareness. It doesn't matter what modality you use. You can't fix one aspect and not address the other. And we spoke about these 4 aspects last time, but I will be recapping. And you can see more details, as I said, on my website, on my main website. So our core principles as mentors and holistic therapists is to inspire you in order to empower you. So hopefully the way you will see things tonight will make you go, aha, a few light bulbs will go on. And again, your brain will begin to connect all that and then hopefully you'll have a better picture of where you are. We both want to help clients to be or reach or express the best version of themselves. And definitely we would love to, my goal, my intention is to affect a transformational shift. I think the big turning point is when you move from the perception or the mentality of being a victim to that of being an empowered, mindful, intentional creator of the life that you want. In other words, you don't blame it on the stars, you don't blame it on the neighbors, you don't blame it on your childhood or your past. All of that is valid. It has happened, but now this is you now in the present. And we talked a little bit about it last time. To heal, you need to be in the present. We all have stories, we all have backgrounds, but I feel what we should be focusing on is what can I do today under these circumstances? And this is when we find our sense of power. 3rd chakra, which Nathalie will tell us all about. One of the things that I particularly emphasize on is holding yourself accountable. I think self-empowerment comes from realizing I did that, whether I messed up or I had a victory, because even if you messed up, it's you who's done it, which means you can correct your distorted pattern or behavior or dynamic, wherever it's coming from, and therefore you can make it happen. So it's about learning the dance of life and dancing with it so that you don't keep falling on the floor. How do I do that? by helping clients extract wisdom from the past. The past is there for a reason, to learn from it and to move towards the future. And once you understand your dynamic, you will correct it automatically. So you will be able to coach yourself, life mentor yourself if you keep attending these webinars, which are available to you for free. Nathalie, what do you think? Shall we recap a little bit of what we mentioned in webinar 1?
Bullet points. I mean,
Bullet points.
Yeah.
Let me move that chat box. Okay, why do we get blocked? We get blocked because our human energy field gets blocked. And also to unblock, we can use the 4 aspects of being human, or the human technology, or I refer to it as the 4 dimensions of change in the Unbox, the Real You mentoring, because that is the totality, if you will, or anything that you can think of will come under these 4 dimensions. And these 4 dimensions really are your hidden gifts. If you connect more deeply with them, you will understand how to turn the key and come out of the box or the prison that you find yourself in. The energy field has a topography, it's a landscape, and many of you do yoga, do healing, do Reiki, or you've heard about it. It's important that you understand how matter and antimatter come together. It's important for you to understand that everything has its equal, although it may be in the opposite direction. But if you have a body, you do have an energy field. And by the way, energy can never be destroyed. So the energy, which is your consciousness, call it your soul, whatever you like, continues. And this is how we evolve as humans, by evolving with our consciousness. So this is when we reach the top of the awareness pyramid. You will remember also that we spoke about the liberating channel. So that's your human energy field, the 7 chakras. Tonight in particular, we're gonna talk about the first 3 chakras, where your personal identity resides. I think I've got all the elements here. Okay, let me go back. So you remember there we are. Liberation channel is where you process, you don't get rid of, you process, you acknowledge what you went through, you extract wisdom from it, and you let go of the drama and the trauma, and your wisdom grows up. Your energy field is lighter, the universe, other energy fields can work with you. And this is when you allow yourself to manifest things, because the energy field is clear, it can let go, and therefore it can receive. The 4 aspects, your human technology is your body, your emotions, your mind, your actions. For simplicity, we can refer to it as Bima. So when you have developed your Bima, you will reach the star at the top. And I call that your guiding star. This is when you truly connect with the deeper aspect of yourself. You may call it higher self, wiser self, higher intelligence. I don't know. Any of the names, so long as it means something to you, apply. The awareness pyramid, you can start from the top and go to the bottom, or you can start from the bottom aspect and go to the top. And this is why it doesn't matter when you start. You can start anytime. You can start from now by asking yourself, who's responsible for what I did or did not do? You can observe your mind to see what are the repetitive or obsessive thoughts. You can observe yourself benignly, as we explained last webinar, which is, by the way, on my YouTube, on my website, and I assume on Nathalie's as well, so people can refer to it. You can watch the first webinar. You can see where you're going out of balance, and simply by observing that, you will learn what to tackle in order to bring yourself back to balance. And of course, the foundation of all of that is your physical body, because if you don't have one, you won't be here and you won't be experiencing what you're experiencing. So I want you to think about it. This is probably the most important slide from my side of the webinar, in terms of understanding the technology and how we can use these hidden gifts to evolve with our consciousness, and how we can start to redefine how we see ourselves. So many of us would have an identity, like I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm an executive, I'm this and that, but you ignore these aspects. These aspects do not change. They are the real you. What you do and where you belong to in what box, that's something that you do temporarily. But once you unbox the real you, your real essence, that can begin to spread into all aspects of your life. You will begin to feel less stressful because you're not being schizophrenic. You are you all the time, whether you are a mother, a father, an executive, whatever, an employee. You will stop defining or limiting who you are by the definition that we think our culture and society impose on us. Are you with us, guys? Are you with us on Facebook? Give us some love, thumbs up. I know there's a delay. I just want to make sure because we started streaming. And again,
I checked it. It's working fine.
Good.
I did check
For
it. Yes.
latecomers, this is the second webinar in the series of Uncover Your Hidden Gifts. You can see the first webinar on our pages or on YouTube. Tonight is the second one, and we're talking about what shapes our identity. Nathalie, do butt in anytime you want to add anything.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we spoke about the human technology. We spoke about the two currents. We spoke about the 7 centers, where or how the energy flows. These are like, if these were traffic pathways, this is the high traffic, is the node, the chakra is where everything connects with everything. So the bottom 3 I've put in red because these are like, solid. When we begin to grow, our makeup goes from top to bottom. And we can look at these as the red sphere. So the first 3 chakras, which we're going to talk about tonight, represent the red sphere. And then we have the heart center. We left that on its own for a reason. And then the top 3 chakras are our mind or higher self or the yellow, represented by the yellow sphere. So what the heart does, it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the mind chakras or the higher self, and it's in the middle of the lower self or the physical self, which is what we're referring to as your personality. So who you are now, which you identify by your name, is only a small aspect of who you truly are. And there are layers and layers that go on, and we were trying to uncover these. So if we start from the super conscious, this is when you're super aware, super conscious, deeply connected with yourself. That's the higher self, the wiser self. Or if you like, okay, let me move this box here. Now, the heart center, I don't know why it did that. We want to go forward here. Represented by the green, which incidentally is one of the colors of the heart center. This is now. This is who you are. This is the present tense, not what you aspire to or what you were. This is the key of dealing with your life, if you will, right now. The current self, the authentic self, the adult self. Okay, so this is wiser, higher. Now this is who we are. And the red circle represents the lower self, the inner child, or the past self. So I'm trying to lead up to something here, that when you are born, you're very little, you have a physical body, you don't have an intellect yet, but your body absorbs a lot of information, a lot of stimulus, and you begin to feel things. As you begin to feel things repeatedly, you begin to form ideas or belief system around these repetitive feelings. But what happens when we grow up, we don't revisit that, but the belief system stays with us. And as such, we attract experiences to confirm or deny our belief. And this is when life starts to get complicated. So what the heart does, did I miss something here? No. So my point is be in the now, because right now, if you want to liberate, you want to manifest, you want to check of what's happening in your inner world, without your awareness, without you watching you, without you being your own observer, your own witness as to how you are doing, you cannot change anything. It's no good us telling you what you need to change without you having a little bit of awareness of, I'm unhappy. I keep doing the same things. I keep having the same thoughts, or same thoughts are, or I'm procrastinating. Why? This is to do with action and accountability. So for now, if you can begin to only observe yourself, don't judge yourself, observe yourself, don't analyze yourself, just observe yourself. Think of the four aspects, the bima, and you can begin to have an idea of where you're getting stuck or where you need to go a little bit deeper. We also spoke about in the first webinar that your inner world is reflected in the outer world. So if you are unable to deal with past experiences, which may come up in the now, you will experience triggers in the now that relate to past experiences. If you're unable to process those, to integrate them into your life, like one of the volumes of the several, volumes of what is your life, then you're not going to receive anything. And this is why we get blocked, because we didn't understand what we went through, and therefore we cannot manifest what we aspire to. So by working on the inside, you clear the outside. Your relationships with your friends, co-workers, families will begin to improve simply because you've cleared yourself on the inside. You began to uncover your real identity, which goes beyond what culture and society defines. And this is when you have the higher aspect on your life from your consciousness, not just your personality, which was shaped by what has happened and by what you thought has happened, because your understanding was very limited as a child. Does that make sense? Am I going too fast? Oh,
No,
Samira, thank you
definitely.
so much. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Because I can get carried away, by the way. I can speak for England. Now, to show you how complex a human being is, if we think of the 7 chakras, which are the 7 spheres, we began to develop an idea that our personality, the basis of it, the foundation, starts with the first chakra, second chakra, and third chakra. We've mentioned also in the first webinar that the chakras have intense activity around certain organs who have hormones. So whatever you go through, your body will react to, send messages to your brain, and your brain will send order to your body to act accordingly through the hormones and everything else. So if you're consistently fearful, your brain will be sending those messages to the point that your back might begin to hurt, things like that. So if a distorted pattern goes on for too long, then it will cause illness, it will cause distortion in the physical body. I mentioned that to go back to the beginning of this webinar, matter, antimatter, or body and energy. So everything starts from the energetic level, like an idea. Look at your sphere. When you get an idea, you touch your head, you go, aha, I got an idea. You begin to dream about it, talk about it, and so on until it manifests. So it begins as an intangible, but if it goes on for long, it becomes tangible. And this is why we need life mentoring, life coaching, whatever you want to call it, holistic therapy, or simply just someone to guide us so we can assimilate, integrate the experiences that we go through, so our energy field is liberated, and therefore we can manifest and make things happen. So as we do that, the bottom sphere, because of these 3 chakras, which are the foundation, is your personality, or what you think it is, or the initial thing that you've built your current personality on. Does that make sense? So yes. Whatever we experience as a child, if we don't clear, then that is the foundation that we will begin to build on. Then,
can I just add something here, Sahar? Yeah, just to your point here, up to the year 7, Dr. Bruce Lipton always refers to that it's like we create our own computer program. Okay. And it is because it's a clean slate. We're born with a clean slate. Like you said, there's no mind, thinking mind. And then we start absorbing from 0 to 7, and then we create that personality. So when we reach a certain age, when we are adults and we're stuck, we just need to go and revisit those years and what was installed, reinstall new ones in order to change our lives.
Upgrade them, integrate them, because if we don't, they kind of keep coming up again. And you have to face them. If you don't understand, well, we won't be able to understand as children. We will carry that into adulthood. We will carry that into later years in life. So the point is, we need to unbox. We need the self-awareness to understand our makeup and how to deal with ourselves, which is what will make us feel empowered. I wanted to also say very briefly, look at all these spheres all over the place. I think you're going to see in the next slide is even more complicated. Because you can grow spiritually, but be totally immature as a person. You can be totally mature as a person, which is the red sphere, but lack the spiritual or the deeper awareness as an adult. So there are different layers. But what happens, look at the heart center, look at the green sphere. The sphere is like an infinity. It's where these two spheres meet, where in the heart, if you live from the heart, i.e., listen to your feelings, not emotions, and ask me later what the difference is, then you can integrate the conflict or resolve it, dissolve it really is the right word. You can transmute whatever is at conflict when we go from the heart. So the heart is the cauldron of all the traumas that we went through, and where we can transmute them into deeper understanding and wisdom. This is what I have to be careful how to word that. When you die, your physical brain will go with you, but your mind will not, because that is energy, and energy is indestructible. So when you grow, that consciousness will evolve even further because it continues and it cannot be destroyed. So nothing is a waste of time. Anytime you begin to develop your awareness is going to help your consciousness, and you will feel the difference. Does that make sense, guys?
Beautiful.
Good. So why is it important to stay in the now? Because if you're too busy in the future, you're too busy dwelling on the past, you're not going to be present right now to deal. This is the key. The present is the key to the future and to the past. And this is your authentic self. This is what you truly feel. If you listen to it, if you teach yourself to tune in and differentiate between your emotions and feelings, you will find that the heart center does not lie. It is the heart itself is programmed, not programmed. It has a lot of neurons, a lot of nerve endings, much more than the brain, because this is where you feel things, and this sends the messages up to the brain. So from here, you know, if you can recall the last time you went into a place, or you met a person and you felt immediately, I feel good, I like them, or this place is for me, or that's your feeling. It's not an emotion. Ask me later why it isn't an emotion. I wanna make sure you guys are with us.
I want to know. Okay.
Well, you know, emotion is energy in motion. We get emotional, we get hormonal, we get frustrated, we're moody, we go up, we go down. That's an emotion. This is when you're trying to integrate something, work something out, but you don't understand it because you're only dealing with matters of the heart, for example, relationships. But you're not asking yourself, you know, what is between the E, the M, and the A? You know, how am I feeling within my body? What is my mental belief around love and relationships, for example? So when you only deal with one aspect, you get more emotional. But when you look at the whole pyramid, then you realize body experiences emotions, emotions form belief system dictate your actions. And this is why things happen in life. The experiences, it's really the total sum or the integration of all these aspects that represents who we are. So if we stay in the now, that will save a lot of psychotherapy sessions simply by witnessing yourself, to begin to understand yourself through the four aspects, through the energy field and the 7 centers, and what it means. And Nathalie will tell us today what the first, second, and third chakra mean. And if you begin to observe these, then when you come to the heart, you will learn to listen, to live from the heart, to listen to your heart. And then you begin to integrate all the past, which will make the future, definitely will make the future a better place. So this is the big sphere that ties up the bottom 3. This is the second sphere that goes around the heart center. And this is the third. And as we said earlier, the heart center connects the first and the bottom circle. They should be actually in infinity, but my computer or my mouse moved them. Yeah, that is it. So this is the infinity that ties up the mind center, the heart center, and the personality or the ego or the self or the character that you think you are right now. So, to put it another way, who you think you are right now is not who all you are. That needs to evolve. And the next step is the living from the heart and the awareness that you can develop even further. So, very quickly, why you get blocked. Again, we have you, the two channels. What you have inside attracts what is from with outside. The real you is hiding under all these layers of different spheres of energy, of chemistry, and the way out of the box of the prison of why you are stuck, the hole that you are in, is simply by peeling them one layer at a time, understanding one dimension of change at a time, understanding one chakra at a time, and the psychological interpretation of the whole thing that goes around the chakras. So this is a brief kind of look into what we do, what I specialize in, what Nathalie specializes. She's an amazing teacher who goes through the whole system of the chakras so that you really get to understand how each layer was formed. In a nutshell, if you were to take one thing away today, it is be in the now. Don't look to the back, you'll miss the future. Don't look too much to the future, you'll miss the possibilities in the present. If you like, my favorite thing, metaphor that I always give my clients is life is like driving. You need to be now, focused on the now, on the road that you are on now, not how you drove yesterday, how you're going to drive tomorrow. That doesn't count. You need to be in the now in order to get to that destination of where you want to go. How do you observe yourself? Lovingly, people, without judgment, without putting yourself down, because whatever you say consciously, you're programming yourself unconsciously. So when you say, oh, I'm such an idiot, I don't know how to do this, or I'm ditzy, or that, yeah, your brain will believe you and it will do exactly what you're saying. Okay.
That's amazing.
Thank you,
yeah,
everybody.
thank you.
I give you over. Can you control this or are you okay?
I think I can.
And what I am going to do is let people focus on you.
Where did you go, Sahar?
I switched my video off because I need to turn the AC on. Are you okay?
I think I can't control the slides. Can I?
No, but I'm here. I'm here. You should be able to. But tell me if you want me to move them forward.
Okay, then let's, yeah, okay, let's stay on this one. I was just going to say actually that I think you're a brilliant teacher.
Oh, bless
and
you.
I can't stress enough what you just said in the end, that all this work, the key that we left with is, yes, to be in the now and to love ourselves. Nothing can be done if we keep on judging and criticizing ourselves. Nothing, just like Sahar said. And
a deeper hole for ourselves, you know?
Yes, yeah. And just before you also leave, Sahar, just to let you all know that our series of webinars are going to take us through the whole chakra system. So today, like Sahar said, we're focused on the first three aspects, the physical, our identity and the physical body, but do stay with us for the next ones, because we are going to go through everything. So the heart center and then the higher spiritual centers are very, very important. Now I will add on to what Sahar just gave you. I'll go a little bit more into tangible details because that's what I love. So I talk about the physical location in the body through my chakra workshop. I do go through a lot more detail because that's what really helped me unbox myself from all of my old patterns and ways of thinking. Of course, I did not understand it at first. And what threw me into this work was, of course, my background as a designer and my years in advertising and the corporate world. I guess I just exhausted myself a lot. There was no self-love until what made me get here was depression. Now, as we talk through the chakra system, the 7 main, of course, there are loads of chakra points along our body, the 7 main centers. We talk about the physical and mental and emotional illnesses we go through. And what my gift was, really my gift was clinical depression. And depression definitely is affected by the 1st and the 7th. So if, as Sahar said, you know, the 2 currents of energy, we have the, excuse my cat, also very excited about the webinar. So the downward manifesting current and the upward liberating current, if we at all block it anywhere in the middle, it will affect a lot of things. And I think depression is the main one that is mentioned throughout the books I studied and cause depression. So depression is really paralyzing. It really is. So I just mentioned again my background, and I think I drove myself to an edge where I had to really fall and really look within. So like Sahar's work is all focused on the unboxing, because I had boxed myself in and there was no way out. And that was really my gift. It was really my blessing, because if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been doing all of this work and uncovered all of my health, how to be healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I'll just wait for Sahar to
I'm here.
sorry,
one of the cats wanted to come in, so I just opened the door. I'm here, Nathalie. Okay.
No worries. Yeah, sorry. The first slide, I always rely on you. Sorry, Sahar.
So
no, the first, yes, this one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Don't give them too much of a sneak peek. Okay, so this one, I have an illustration. Of course, as my background as designer, I always like to have the details. So if I'm talking about the physical body here for chakra number 1, it will affect so much in our body. And people think, okay, it's energy. How is it related to the physical? You'd be surprised. And throughout my workshop, I talk specifically about things that happened to me and things that happened to certain people I know, so as to give you the link and relationship. You know, it's not just stories we invent. So chakra number 1 really gets established, let's say, between the ages of 0. So really, when you're still being formed within your mom's womb, up to 6 months, let's say, or maximum 12 months. And chakras, because they are energy, the chakra number 2 and 1 overlap. So let's just now talk about chakra number 1. So it is all about us feeling welcomed into this world. That's so important. And before you come out into the world, it is also about how you get affected by what your mother goes through, the emotions and the mental state and the physical state your mother goes through. All of that gets absorbed by the child before they are physically born. So you can just imagine how that energy gets stored into the child's body. So a main thing that really chakra 1 really helps us work on is our right to be here. So it is all about our physical well-being. It governs, as you can see, the physical, the bones, all of our skeletal structure, the whole body. So the legs, the bones, the bone marrow. I know I have a lot of details there, but this is our support, our physical support, and our physical entity in this life. So if people don't really pay attention to their bodies for whatever reason, how are you going to have a good life? You can't. And that also relates to self-love. If you don't really love yourself fully, you're not really looking after your body. And without this physical body, you will not, as Sahar mentioned, have this life that we have as a gift. We should never forget it is a gift, and our life is a blessing.
And if I can interject, because we had a question about how can we live in the now.
Sorry.
By contemplating the past, you're missing the present. And the present, the gift that you have, are functional in the present. You can't heal yourself once you're dead, but you can do something now.
Yeah, and I'll add to that what helped me really, Khulud, thank you. It's such an important question, because I used to find myself, now of course I got much better, because a lot of times you get overwhelmed by what happens in your day, and then that's what triggers anxiety, fear, and then you could waste your day so easily. So just bring yourself down to the now, and the most important exercise is focus on your breath. the breath is so important. Throughout our chakras, we can go through exercises, and the breath is the most important thing. I mean, really, because otherwise we would have a physical existence. So if you can just focus.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sahar?
It connects you to life. If you're alive,
Yes.
breathing, and that's your connection to all that is.
True. So they're very simple.
You know, if you think too quickly, if you can't articulate yourself, you're not breathing deeply enough. If you have obsessive thoughts that you can't control, watch your breathing. I bet you anything, it will be shallow and fast breathing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a webinar on breathing, you know, maybe.
We can mention it in the webinar, not the Arabic one, the next English one, because we will be talking about the heart center where we use the air as the element. Yeah.
Good, great idea.
So Khulud, the easiest thing is to stop all your thinking, all your thoughts, and bring yourself into the now and focus on your breath and breathe. Take deep breaths to really ground you into your physical body. And then there's no other things. You know what helps me also? Make a list of everything and then delegate. Try to give yourself really the easiest task of doing as little as possible when you get too stressed and being in the now. So don't think of what you have to do tomorrow or later. Just focus on right now. And it is a continuous exercise until that becomes our new programming in the brain, because we're probably all really trained and programmed to keep on running, to think of the next hour, tonight, tomorrow morning, next week, what I'm going to do, where I'm traveling this summer. So that should stop. It's okay to have goals, of course, and plans, but then come back and remind ourselves that what we have is just this present moment and take it from here. I hope that helps.
Shall I
Sahar, I'm sorry, I can't, I don't know why I can't. No, okay, so I just wanted to quickly go through why I mention on each of my slides, which you will see that what they get damaged by is because each chakra as energy has come to teach us something positive, but can also get highly damaged, and the energy does not really work or flow smoothly in that center if we have certain shocks. Okay, so chakra number one, because of all it is here to do, it obviously gets damaged by birth trauma, okay, abandonment, physical neglect, poor physical bonding with our mom, so many things to do with our physical body. So physical abuse, of course, feeding disabilities, no connection, no real physical connection with the mom and dad. And one big thing here is fear. If you get scared, the energy of fear will just want you to get up and leave. So you're not really grounded, you're not really rooted through your legs into earth. So the next slide, sorry, Sahar, the next slide will show you, thank you, very easily how we can work on healing our chakra. So the main thing that you might notice about this slide is that it is red. That is really one of the easiest things. So as an example, I noticed about myself for so many years, I had to paint my whole sitting room red, and I didn't realize until years later that I was going through so much fear and anxiety when I first arrived here, that I needed to surround myself with the energy and the vibration of this color, because it made me feel welcome, safe, and helped me with all of my issues. So one of the main things is just surround yourself with the color of that chakra. And then obviously, because chakra number one is all about our physical body, so stay in good health, care about yourself, get on a good diet, eat what's good for your body, exercise, sleep. Sleep is so important, you know. When you tell yourself, oh no, sleep and rest are a waste of time, that's absolutely wrong. If you think of yourself as anything like a mobile phone, your mobile phone will only function properly and help you if you recharge it every now and then, and think of that as sleep. So you need your off time to sleep, and so that your body can regenerate and help you have a good, healthy life. So, okay, since we are slowly running out of time.
Shall I move to the next one?
No, hold on. One last thing about the affirmations, still for chakra number one. So let me just explain affirmations, because these are energy and they are thoughts we think. So like Sahar mentioned, the first 7 years of our lives, we have a program which was instilled in us. not in an evil way, but because as children, we just absorb and we sponge in everything that goes around us. So the most important thing to do to stay healthy on a mental, emotional, and physical level is to make sure our thoughts and words are very positive. And if you cannot create positive ones, at least watch out and become aware of all the negative words and thoughts that you are repeating on automatic. You need to become aware. And I know Sahar emphasized that awareness, becoming aware of everything that you think and say, and then self-love are crucial for this work. So some of the affirmations, I'm sure everybody's heard of positive affirmations. They're going all over now. Surround yourself with them, write them down so that your brain sees you handwriting them, and they have to be positive and in the present moment so that your brain knows that they are actually happening. And then you need to believe them, of course, believe them and feel them. So all of the energy in your body is sending a message back to your brain, and your brain will just attract more of what you're affirming. Okay, Sahar, thank you. If now I can move to the
chakra 1. The color red, what you said really inspired me, is the color of vitality. So if you are lazy, if you are tired, if you lack in energy, if you can't wake up in the morning, this is all indication of what chakra is out of alignment or has not liberated and therefore cannot receive inspiration. And the reason for the affirmations is when you see what's on your mind, this is the shortest cut. The information will go to your brain. And as you put new thoughts in, the old thoughts will begin to dissolve. Literally, your brain will be forming new neural circuits. So don't take them lightly. I used to have an affirmation, all is well in my world, from Louise Hay on the back of my door in London for years. And it does work. And that belief goes in. Right.
True. Okay. So moving swiftly onto chakra number 2, as I said, every chakra has something to teach us. So the energy here is the energy center governs the organs right above the coccyx, and it governs the sexual organs, all right? And it touches on the digestive system as well. So between chakra number 2 and 3, we will see an overlap. But the main thing about chakra number 2 is that it governs the small and large intestines, the appendix, the kidneys as well, our pelvis, the bladder, all liquids in our body, our lymphatic system, and the pancreas.
Oh, isn't that
it is here.
You hold back, like literally you retain, the fluid and...
Yes, yeah. And I mean, I haven't mentioned here because, of course, Sahar, there's so many details for the chakra. So each chakra has an element it relates to, and the element it relates to, and the element for chakra number 2 is water, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Good.
So what chakra number 2 is here to teach us, since chakra number 1 was about feeling safe and welcome and being well in your body, chakra number 2 is all about the right to feel pleasure. So it is not only about sexual pleasure, but that's a main thing, of course. It is very important, and hopefully one day education in schools will emphasize sexual education, because it is very important about how you feel about yourself and your connection to another. It is about really the small pleasures in life. So how I like to wake up and have my cup of tea or coffee in the morning, where I like to sit. Saying no is a big thing about chakra number 2, because it is also about you allowing yourself what you want to do, people you want to see when you're ready to see them, things you want to do when you feel like doing them, okay? So training yourself to saying no is a major thing we learn in chakra number 2. As I mentioned in chakra number 1, every chakra has something that can damage it, and I will also mention a few. So anything to do with sexual, emotional abuse, manipulation, neglect, coldness, so no physical or emotional connection with the mom or the father. The overuse of the playpen, I thought, was a really very interesting one, because that also restricts your movement. And in chakra number 2, we learn a lot about movement. And the child, this is where they say that the child has a psychological birth between the ages of 18 to 24 months. The child suddenly realizes that I am my own person, not really thinking about being an own person, but there's a slight independency that here just wakes up in the child, and you notice children just walking away from the parents because they start crawling and they realize that they can really be independent in a way, but they always look back to make sure that the mom or the dad are there for their safety and security, just in case something happens, because of course they're still very dependent on their parents. What else? So the main one here also is guilt. So many of us go through guilt, you know, and when you think about pleasure, everybody starts thinking, oh no, but I feel guilty to feel pleasure because maybe, you know, so many people are in need. Why do I have so much money? But I mean, think about what you can do with all the gifts that you have in your life. And that's just like a tiny bit about chakra number 2 and the energies there. I'm conscious about time, so I'll just move on to the next slide.
And
please.
People who are watching us on Facebook, please share the link right now. Let your friends, family know about this, because the more that we help to wake up and raise their awareness, the better that all of our lives will be. So we would really appreciate it if you share the link, let them join. All right, so we're on chakra 3 now. Sorry,
no, still chakra number 2, the orange slide. Yeah, so very quickly, again, you can notice that the color is very important. So the color around chakra number 2 and anything that we have surrounding that physical part of our body can be healed using orange. I like colors, so I was trying to wear one of the chakra colors.
Nice.
Excuse my cats in the background. Now, some of the things that we can do to keep our chakra number 2 balanced are a lot of work on our inner child. So connecting to our memories, connecting through maybe hypnotherapy, or asking your parents what happened at your birth, earlier on with your family. All of those memories are just there to help you progress in life. So you can let go of any traumas or any difficulties you might have had as a child. And now with self-love, you realize that you are there for that child in you if no adult was there back then. So you are there and responsible for helping the child in you grow and release any emotional blocks that they might have had at a very young age. The affirmations here, which are very, very important, because our thoughts and our words are crucial to the energy in our body, are that I feel pleasure in my body. For instance, I didn't even mention one about chakra number 1, but it could be I feel safe, I love my body, and I flow through life with ease. Okay, very, very simple ones. Sahar, shall I ask you to move to the next slide? Yeah. So we leave some time for questions. Okay, so again, chakra number 3 and the physical location, we move slightly up, and it is overlapping with chakra number 2, of course. So here it governs, it's huge on the intestines area and our digestive system. And I'll mention a very important thing about chakra number 3 in a minute. So the organs are, as you can see, the diaphragm, our digestive system, so the liver, the stomach, the kidneys, adrenal glands, the spleen, small intestines, our lower back, of course, because the chakras are from the front and the back. The enteric nervous system, our pancreas again, and it touches on the respiratory system, which we will discuss in about 2 weeks' time. Now, chakra number 3 is the engine in our body. The engine, why? Because once you need energy, you need, it is the area in your body that digests the food and gives you energy. Energy to perform whatever you need with a physical body. I don't know what's wrong with my cats tonight, sorry.
It's okay, she's enjoying the webinar, Nathalie.
Yeah. So it is so crucial, because the digestive system is the engine in our body. And as Sahar mentioned in her bit, is that these 2 currents of energies also meet in chakra number 3 for us to manifest. So this is a very important point in our bodies where we can manifest things in our physical life. All right.
It's really our central power. You know, Chinese system of alternative health and well-being, that's your center of power. You know, like your stomach is where you feel the oomph. So if there's anything wrong, you cannot liberate and you cannot manifest. Very important center, and it's a very important center of who you think you are. And therefore, if you have an inclusive view of who you are on a higher level, on a consciousness level, then who you are becomes infinite. You don't need to box yourself with how you identify with yourself as a personality.
Yeah, and very good point, Sahar, because this is the center where it is crucial for us to learn about our own individual self. So this is where we learn about the ego forming, and the child starts realizing that I can stand up, I am independent, I can think for myself, I can wish for myself, and it is crucial for all of our feelings of self-esteem. And of course, what would damage somebody's self-esteem and ego is shame. If I mention what this chakra is here to teach us is our right to be ourselves, our individual selves. So we're not copycats of each other. We're not clones. We're not here to, this is where we judge each other, right? So if we learn about how chakra number 3 is here to help us, we stop judging and comparing ourselves to others. We start understanding that we are all important. We're all born as special individuals, and we're all here with a gift. So chakra number 3 is about how to be, how to act, our right to be and to act as individuals. And again, the center of our inner power. What can damage it is, of course, feelings of shame. If we feel shamed by people around us, of course, children at that age are still highly influenced by parents, society, teachers, school, everything. So if they don't find the support that they need, they will feel ashamed of their own power, their own decisions, their own thoughts, and then they will find it really hard to establish their own personality. Okay, so other things that also damage this chakra are authority. So very hard and authoritarian parents or society or school. Again, physical abuse, fear of punishment, dangerous environment, and age inappropriate responsibility. So children who aren't allowed to be children anymore and have to take on adult responsibilities really quickly. Domination of will, so that's when the parents or society tell them what to do, so that their will, and I forgot to mention that, sorry, this is also when, if I become my own individual, I learn that I have my will to make choices. And if somebody else's will is enforced on me, that of course damages the energy in this center. Stress and shame are very big points to damage the energy in this chakra. There's so much to talk about, really. I don't know how we can fit it into such a short time, but this subject is my passion.
But the idea is to give them a taster, so they're curious, they begin to expand, look it up. And I strongly recommend that you take the online course with Nathalie, so that you can begin to understand your energetic anatomy, not just the physical anatomy, how both relate and make who you are.
And I mean, I could also talk about it for ages. Yeah, okay, so again, the color, as easy as that. If you have digestive issues like I did for so very long, just surround yourself with the color yellow, because it is also about the sun and the burning of energy and metabolism in our body. So again, here, the breathing is so important. There are 2 types of breathing: a slow breathing exercise, deep breathing, of course, and we breathe with the abdomen, not the shoulders, because if you realize you're breathing doing this, that means you're highly stressed, because the shoulders don't take in air. It is actually with the abdomen and the lungs. So deep breathing will relax your body and heal chakra number 3. Okay, and then there's another type of breathing which is called Kapalbhati in yoga. So we highly recommend you take yoga. So Kapalbhati is the opposite of the deep relaxed breathing. It is actually a fast breathing that can heat chakra number 3 up and help you heat up your body, because as it is the center of energy in your body, it is also the heating and cooling center for your body. What else can I say? Yeah, risk taking. If you are your own individual, just push yourself out of your comfort zone every now and then and take a risk by maybe speaking up or staying quiet or doing something that might scare you sometimes, like going on a roller coaster. I mean, little things that might also just push you out of your comfort zone. Of course, here we're talking about vigorous exercises. So I don't know, like running, aerobics, cardio, martial arts, lots of things, and things that you love. One major thing I love to discuss when I give the workshop is how to release anger, because this is where the youngster starts realizing that he or she are individuals, and then other people's will or orders, might create anger and frustration. So releasing our anger in the appropriate manner can help chakra number 3 be healthy and keep it healthy. And anger is a big thing, and it's not there as an evil aspect. It is there as an energy to help us unite with our inner power, to help us set boundaries, to help us be more assertive. So everything in our body is good. There is no such thing as any bad or negative energy.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And the affirmations for here is, for instance, that I am absolutely unique and necessary. I love this one because a lot of youngsters and teenagers who come to see me are, of course, highly affected by criticism and judgments and comparing themselves with maybe their parents or other colleagues and students. And that is really, that highly affects chakra number 3 negatively. So Sahar, am I doing good for time? Right on time.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I mean, this is really, like Sahar said, we love our subjects and we could go on talking about them for hours, and we won't. We promise. But please do take our workshops.
Yeah, and I just want to say that we will open up the floor for questions. I'm looking at Facebook. If you have any questions, I'm also looking in the chat. Do let us know. You can always reach me or Nathalie with any questions. Our Instagram handle is there. You can also send emails through the main website. Follow us on social media. The more that people know through you that such program exists, hopefully it will help them too. And I also just want to mention, I've recently joined Clubhouse because it is pushing me out of my comfort zone. If anyone is in the house, let me know. It's a platform where we can speak. It's audio only, there's no video. And many of you have missed Unbox Coffee Break. And maybe a good way of doing it is in Clubhouse because of the time difference. And I would really like to start a room where we can discuss things. If you're not there, let me know if you need to be invited. But I look forward to seeing you there. And I can also have a room in Arabic and a room in English. I think both of us want to do Arabic English because so many of you have been asking, can you repeat the same thing in English, in Arabic? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Thank you, Khulud, and everyone.
Any questions, anyone? You can unmute yourself. I don't know if the raising of the hand is working, but if it is, use it. And let us know if you have any questions. And if you want to stay behind and talk a little bit, I will stop the live streaming and you can ask questions. Okay, guys, unmute yourself. Oh, brilliant, Samira. Thank you. You're on Clubhouse. Wonderful. So I'll find you. I'll connect with you if we haven't connected. And Reem, any questions? Reem is watching from Jordan. She really wanted to see this. Yeah, whatever, let me know on Facebook or Zoom. Okay, we're getting better at looking at everyone here. Thank you very much. Share the link. Ask people to subscribe, watch this again. And if you have any specific thing that you want us to discuss or talk about, we can always do that. I'm gonna stop the live stream now. Okay, great. So now we're just on Zoom. Zoom people, are you here? Unmute yourself. ايموا الميكروفون واللي عنده سؤال يسأل.
Hello.
Hello.
Amazing session, to be honest. A lot was learned. Yani, the chakras, like, it's such an interesting thing to know because at the beginning you said, oh, forget everything you know before, which is true because I read a lot. I try to educate myself about myself.
Can we see you? Can we see you? I would love to see you.
Oh, for sure. Just a sec.
Okay, we're definitely off Facebook.
Yeah, so I always avoid the chakra.
Oh, why?
amazing. I don't think like I never felt like and no like it's related or something, or I only hear about it as if it's this thing. But now like hearing about it, and especially like the red part where I relate to when you said it's something like if you I feel I get up and leave, it's the fear inside of me or
Yes,
something. It's
yes.
something definitely makes sense to me, and that part like was amazing for me, and I would love to
Wonderful.
share the presentation or the document so I can always go back to
Okay.
and read about it.
Okay, Natalie can do that. And I want to ask everyone, if you're still here, if I were to ask you what is one thing that stuck in your mind, like Olashi, what stuck to her is that fear of getting up and going. What is one takeaway that this webinar gave you? Can you put that in the chat box? I just want to see what is really of interest to you. What is one thing that made an impact, made an effect that you took away from this second webinar? I'd really appreciate it if you put something in that.
Allah has a very interesting smile. I wonder what she's going to say. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And Jad, thank you for sharing, Allah. Thank you. Thank you for the notes. Yes, it is very important
And I hope
what we learn from that.
yeah, go out of their comfort zone and share something.
The now, so important, the now.
Okay, maybe it helps them if I stop the recording. I'm gonna stop the recording of Zoom.